What's going on, kinfolk? You already know who it is. It's your main man with the game plan. Sincere is definitely in the building. I am Janice's oldest boy, if you didn't know. And I am the host of the Black Owned Podcast. It's good to be back. It's good to see kinfolk as usual. So I'm saying, so give yourselves a good round of applause, you know what I mean, as we get back into this thing. But first, let's just take care of the regular business. Please like and share as you come in. And if you're checking us out on YouTube, please don't be afraid to smash that subscribe button. I'm always looking for new guests. So if you are a small business owner, you're an author, you're a creative, you can provide us inspiration or information. Please don't hesitate to give me an email at the number one black owned podcast at gmail.com. That is the number one black owned podcast at gmail.com. First things first, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of the good and active fathers out there. I know that what we do is sometimes thankless, but it's always invaluable. So today I want to open up the phone lines. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Question of the day is going. What I want you guys to do is to just give me a good memory you have with your father, uh, and share it with us here on the show. What's going on, homie? I appreciate you, brother. And share it with us here on the show. We'd be happy to hear about that. Also, happy Juneteenth. I would be remiss if I did not say happy Juneteenth, not just to us here in the States, but also in the diaspora. We've been through a lot, 400 years of slavery, the slave codes, Jim Crow, drugs in our community, police brutality, and yet and still we thrive. And we have the nerve to call each other kings and queens because that's what we are. So happy Juneteenth. I appreciate everybody out there. But let's get right to it, man. We got some breaking news. So all right. Breaking news. My first bit of breaking news. It isn't that breaking, but I just did want to speak on it a little bit. That's my main man, Boosie. Boosie got corralled by the feds on Friday. If you guys didn't know that, felon in possession of a firearm are the charges that were just put out on him. And what's ironic is they got Boosie on live. You know how Boosie loved to go live, and they got him off of one of his lives with a old gun in the waistband. Come on, Boosie. Come on, man. You got to do a little bit better than that. Got to do a little bit more better than that. What's next is let's talk about Ron DeSantis or DeSatan. Florida is really out of control, and a lot of it has to do with Ron DeSantis and all of these awkward laws that he's putting into place that seems to kind of target black and brown people, if you will. So, black people, I know that we've gotten together and said that we won't visit Florida. I probably will break that rule because I'm from there. I got family there I have to go see, grandbaby in particular. So I'm definitely going to be down there. But my brown brothers, it seems like they've left in droves. A lot of construction sites empty. A lot of other places where my brothers would usually occupy are empty. So that all has to do with Ron DeSantis and his foolishness. But I have one question. One thing about Ron DeSantis that he's talking about at this point in time that do we disagree? Ron DeSantis banned African American history course from all of the schools in Florida. When he made his speech, and I believe this speech was on Monday, the governor was talking about, first of all, he spoke from a podium, and the podium said, Florida, the education state. Let's stop with the semantics, please. But anyway, he says that this course on Black history, one of the lessons were about queer theory. Queer theory. Now, I love my, LGBTQ community here on the Black Owned Podcast. Have no issue. But what makes queer theory an African American history course? It's a question we got to ask ourselves. maybe Ron DeSantis didn't get that one wrong. Maybe he didn't get that one wrong. The last thing I got for you guys, of course, if you don't know who these two gentlemen are, this is Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. A few months ago, these gentlemen were removed from their House seats in Tennessee because they were protesting gun laws. There was a third person who also was with them. That person was not a melanated individual, and their seat was not stripped from them. But these two gentlemen were stripped of their seats. However, on Friday, they won their Democratic primary easily for both of these gentlemen. They have the actual general elections beginning August 3rd. Justin Jones will be running against an independent, and Justin Pearson will be running against a Republican. So to all my people in Tennessee, make sure that we 10 toes down and we support these brothers when the time comes. All right, today I have wonderful guests with me today. Coach K. Wood. We're going to really get into some things with Coach K. Wood. I really was into her socials. Usually I always follow people who follow me, but I was really into her socials. You hear me? So we're going to be speaking with her sometime today on the show. But first, we're going to be talking to Isaiah Sweetwine. I know he probably, that's a cool name too, Sweetwine. That's a cool name. This gentleman is a college basketball player, but he's also an author. I read a little bit of the book. He's been through some things. He's a young brother, I believe. We say 21, 22, somewhere around there. You know what? We don't even have to guess. So, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and welcome to the show, Mr. Isaiah Sweetwine.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. No complaints at all. So, Mr. Sweetwine, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? All of those good things.
First and foremost, happy Father's Day.
Appreciate you.
You gotta get that out the way. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. But
right. And you know what? Before you start, do you have a fond memory of your father?
Oh man, being an athlete, I just have a bunch of memories of. I mean, I went to the gym with him one time. That's a fond memory I have because I totally killed him in there. And he didn't think I had it in me, but that's something we don't talk about a lot. But
we don't want to talk about that once we lose to our sons, we know it's time for us to hang our jerseys.
Yeah,
it's a wrap for us after that.
Yeah, he probably listened to this right now. I killed him one time, and I think we only went one time, and that it might have been that one time. But,
he must have waited late. I took advantage of mine. I played them when they was like 7.
No, yeah. See, no, I was old enough to do some things.
Right. Well, that's cool. Well, go ahead, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from a city called Aurora, Colorado, out of Colorado.
All right.
Just outside of Denver. I mean, if you're familiar with Colorado, Denver for sure.
Indeed.
Home of the 2023 NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets. All right. No, I gotta add that in there. But yeah, we'll see. Just outside of Denver, Aurora, Colorado. Not really a place that a lot of people are really fond of, but I think it's growing on a lot of people. I think Colorado as a whole just growing on a lot of people. We the city of champions and here in Denver and Aurora. So
you can say that now. You couldn't say that last week.
No, I couldn't say that last week. I'm also not like a diehard Nuggets fan. It just feel good to be in a place where you winning.
Right. Hopefully y'all have some more of that with Dion up there.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I don't even really watch college football, but anywhere where the winning's happening, I'm with that.
I ain't mad at that. So you got tell us about your basketball journey, where you are and where you want to go, where that's concerned.
Man, I fell in love with basketball as young as I can remember. As young as I can remember, I didn't used to be that good. But, just as anybody, you pick something up and you do it long enough and you just learn. And it's been a journey. The basketball has been a journey. I'm on my third school now in college, and I've been a college athlete for a long time. And basketball is one of those things where, you feel like, okay, there you go.
The Nuggets hate is real.
Yeah, people ain't too fond of the Nuggets, I know. But yeah, basketball, one of them things, man, where it just teach you how to just grow. just grow up. Like, it teaches me so much just outside. I've learned more in life with basketball than basketball itself. You know what I'm saying? So it's been one of those things. It's just been one of them things for me. And it's been a journey. I started when I was super young, played in like the city, like little teams inside the city, got to travel a little bit, got to go to some cool places when I was a teen, like 16, 15. So, you know, I got a little traveling in me at that time, got to meet a lot of good dudes. A lot of good networking comes from it, you know. So it's a business. It teaches you just how to be a good businessman. And it kind of paves the way, you know what I'm saying? Like, you learn a lot of things just through basketball itself. So that's what it's been for me. That's what it's been for me. Yeah. That's my dad right there.
Big ol' Pops.
Yeah, he don't.
What's going on, Pops, man? You know why you took the L early? You took you one time to get the L. Come on, Pops. You got to hold it down for us. That's all right. That's all right. But so
yeah, man.
With your with your experience and all of the things that you've done with basketball thus far, how did the book come about? Now, I'm gonna preface this by letting people know, of course, that I've had a copy since before today. So I got a little bit of a headway.
Yeah, you got a little
everybody
bit behind
else.
the scenes,
right? Yeah. So it has some pull to it, some gravitation.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to talk on that.
It does. So
what's the name of the book first and foremost?
What'd you say?
What's the name of the book first and foremost?
So the book is called Sweet. I mean, for the people that don't know, like, a lot of my friends call me that. Not so much my family, but a lot of my friends call me Sweet. And then it's navigating life through sports, relationships, and Christ. You know, that's just kind of like the three things that like have gotten me through. You know, for everybody it's different, but just the three things that have gotten me through. So I mean, first and foremost, I want to say I haven't always been a writer, which sounds crazy because now I just have a whole book. But
nobody's always been a writer.
Yeah, I haven't even always been interested in writing itself. You know what I'm saying? But
that's even better. So that means that something had to spur you on to doing that. And what was that? What was that thing that made you say, you know what, I'm gonna put pen to paper?
So I started gaining a little like traction or interest to it when I was a senior in high school. So like 3 or 4 years ago. And it just felt like therapeutic, you know? It really felt therapeutic for me, and more so helping other people too. And I guess that's kind of the spur of the moment thing that I just learned that, like, well, I've always known I like to help people, but it's one of those things where you can reach a large audience at one time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a book. You know, you can buy it from anywhere in the world, any country in the world. You know, so for me,
what was the therapy about it? So for some people, the therapy is the hearing or the talking, and for other people, it's to be heard. So some people want to talk and put the story out there, and others want to be heard. What about which one of those things were therapeutic for you?
Not really more a sense of being heard, because I mean, you have your own book, and maybe it's not selfish to say that you just want to be heard. But for me, more so, it was I want to hear other people more than anything. And reading the book, it might be the outlet that somebody else needs to, like, hit my phone, or maybe even start typing up their own stuff if it's therapeutic for them. So maybe more so, I like to hear what it did for somebody else, more so for me being heard.
So what are we covering in the book? The book says sports, relationships, and Christ.
Relationships.
So what are we covering?
Relationships with people, your families, how you treat yourself. That's a huge part of it. How you treating yourself, upgrading your own mindset.
Plug. Yeah. Go ahead.
Upgrading your mindset, and that's really what it was for me. That's really the journey you go down, because you're gonna get into like my mindset and the battles I had with myself, and then it may open up the outlet to the battles you have with yourself. And then
so help me out with this. So there are some, especially in the beginning of the book, it's a lot of traumatic things that you had to experience at a young age.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. So how do those things affect you still to this day, and how did it kind of push you into the directions as far as your relationships and Christ are concerned?
it pushed me into a space where I like to connect with people. I like to be more vulnerable with people. Just because every time I was every time I was at a place or a sense in life where I lost something, it's at a time where I wasn't as vulnerable as I felt like I could have been. But as soon as you lose that person or that thing, you don't really have a chance to connect with them no more, you know, like through death or, you know, whatever else it is where you lose a person.
Right.
So for me, like it's made me grow enough to be more vulnerable, like just in my everyday life, like saying hi to strangers in a place where I probably didn't do that before because I wasn't open to people. Like, you know what I'm saying? It sounds bad, but like I was once at a place where I just wasn't open to people. But, you know, now I may say something to a stranger. Now I may just ask you how your day going and things like that. So it made me like, you know, just be more vulnerable for sure.
Vulnerable. That's a big word for a young man such as yourself. You know, it really is because, you know, that comes with maturity and it comes with not just because when you're vulnerable, you're mature and you have a understanding of yourself and others.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where a lot of people that's a big thing where a lot of people don't really want to have those tough conversations.
Right.
They don't really want to have those conversations. And you know, that's a big thing with people that I'm learning more about myself too, because there's some conversations that I just like gotta force myself to have even when I don't want to have them, you know?
Right. Yeah. But you know what? The people who have the tough conversations are the people whose relationships are the strongest.
Yeah.
Because those things, especially those types of conversations, it's not tough because it's a tough conversation. It's a tough conversation because there's going to be some growth had on both sides, and growth hurts. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, I got a good friend of mine that said if it's not growing, it's dying.
Yeah.
So that's a good. So growth is good.
No, and that's real. And that's real. A lot of people associate growth with if they don't see themselves doing good. And I talk about this in the book, like as an athlete, you know, in the duration of a game, you're shooting the ball, you're playing defense, all types of things. And you associate yourself with how you're performing, with if you're doing good or bad, or if you're a good person or not. So, you know, like, for example, I'm a guard. So in a basketball game, I'm probably going to take the bulk of the shots. If I miss a bulk of the shots, does that mean I'm a terrible player? In hindsight, no. But you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are going to look at themselves like, man, I'm just like, I'm not a good person. I'm not a good basketball player because I didn't shoot the ball well today. And so I just adapted that. I've taken that and like input it in my life where if I have a bad day, that don't make me a bad person or, you know.
It doesn't.
And that's the book is all about hard conversations and there's those types of things. You know what I'm saying?
And that's and you know what? And when I was reading the book, what kind of threw me aback was again how young you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, how old are you?
I'm 21. I just turned 21 in March.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I have like 4 kids that's older than you. You know what I'm saying. So, but you know what? And the reason why I say that is because, especially for a man, it's great that you are self-aware to the point that you are.
Yeah.
Right. And especially when we're talking about things like vulnerability. You know what I'm saying. It is exactly great Father's Day present, good sir. You've done well here. You can let this man fly into society and we be all right. Good on you. We appreciate you.
He don't remember the game though.
I wouldn't remember it either. I'm on Pop's side. But yeah, I was very it was shocking that, you know, the things that you had to deal with at such a you know, a young age. But again, when you're talking about Christ, if that's what had to happen, you know, for you to be at this point and to be as mature as you are and looking towards your future, then so be it. Speaking about your future, what is the future looking like?
Go to Lyon College in Arkansas in the fall in Batesville, Arkansas, a little bit ways from Little Rock. And that's where I'm going to be at. That's where the basketball is going to end for me if I choose. That's where the degree is going to come from. And
right.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to start. Whatever journey God has in store for me after that.
Indeed. So what's going to be your what you getting your degree in?
Business administration.
Business
administration. So like business management. Yeah.
Right. Maybe any aspirations to maybe do some speaking engagements, you know, after your book has been published?
Yeah, definitely. a lot of networking, a lot of just getting in front of. I really want to get in front of kids. I love like I feel like you can mold. I mean, you can always change if you have the desire to change, but you know, I really want to get in front of a lot of kids and things like that because you know you can still kind of mold them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I like the book because in that sense, like it's a little bit of for everyone. Like you could be 40, 50, 60 and read my book from a 21-year-old and feel like, you know, oh, I could relate to that. I could relate to him going through this and those type of things. And a kid can as well. And that's why, you know, that's why I chose to go this route. And of course, definitely some engagement stuff, some podcasts, some things like that for sure.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it was great. You know, being a part of your journey, and you know, having you here on the Black Owned Podcast. Maybe we have you back after your book has been published, and we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some speaking engagements, hopefully that you'll have, you know, as a result of that. But you know, congratulations on the book. Wishing you luck in this upcoming basketball season and whatever you have for yourself after the fact.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. You got a good thing going here, man. Allowing people like me who probably just normal kids in my city probably wouldn't have the chance to do. So, you know, you got a good thing going here, got a good platform here, and I'm appreciative.
I appreciate you, but there's nothing normal about you, sir. You're an extraordinary guy. Please take that with you, you know, when you walk away from here. And again, happy Father's Day, and to your father in particular.
Yes, sir. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Give them any of your social handles before we get out of here.
Instagram, it's Benzay. That's ITSBEEN.ZAYY, 2 Y's at the end. Facebook, Isaiah Sweetwine. Easy, find me there.
Indeed.
Twitter, King_Zay25. That's going to be King King_ZAE, not ZAYY, ZAE 25.
All right, there you go. For everybody that's going to be looking for a nice young speaker to come speak to your students, you got one right here, Mr. Isaiah Sweetwine, man. Hey, Isaiah, man. Like I said, it's been great having you on, man.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you always, man. We'll stay in touch, and you know, I appreciate the opportunity to be on here, man.
Indeed, indeed. All right, we'll see you later.
All right.
My bad, I cut him off. My bad. I don't mean to do that. That's not what I intended, Zay. It's not my thing. I don't do that. Hold on for a minute. Matter of fact, stay back there in the green room. We're gonna bring you back in probably a little bit later. But next we want to speak to Miss Coach K. Woods. Coach, you ready?
And I am. What's good? What's good?
What's happening?
Hey. How you doing? Listen,
I am doing good.
I've been back in the green room just like hollering, like, yes, like, come on, Isaiah. Like, I'm definitely that hype girl. So, like, to hear him just speak, like, that was so amazing to me. Isaiah, that is, you don't know me, but baby, I am so proud of you. Please keep doing your thing. Like,
indeed. Especially for a young man like that, it's a good thing. It's a
absolutely.
But we want to talk to you, Miss Empowering Real Talk.
Hey,
Coach K. Woods. You know what I mean? It's good to have you on the show. First thing I want to ask you is if you have a good or fond memory of your father on Father's Day.
In all transparency, I really don't. I do not have a relationship with my real father. I have a father that I grew up with, but unfortunately, our relationship is not the good either. So I don't have the best. I don't bash, but you know, I continue to wish them the best. So
indeed. Let's get into it. Let's talk about first of all, everybody, this coach is a transformational mindset coach. Right.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
I'm going to let you tell them exactly what that is.
Well, I am a transformational mindset coach for women. I'm here to help us get out of these outdated thinking methods that are holding us back individually, as a whole, as a community. I can go on and on with that. I transform my own mind because I believe that we live in a restricted state of mind. We believe that everybody's values are supposed to be the same. Everybody is supposed to do things a specific type of way. And that is what I call a restricted mindset. That's a lot of the reasons why I feel we're stuck as a whole, because everybody feels like things are supposed to be done one way. I am teaching women to come into their own values, be unapologetic about that, so they can live the true life that they're destined to live, unapologetically, with the confidence that we need to, live our life unapologetically. And you'll hear me say that word a lot because I love to be unapologetic in my words, in my lifestyle, and just everything that I do. So
well, that's awesome. And like I said, I was all over your socials. I love your attitude. I love, your
Thank you.
outlook on things is very, unique
Thank
and
you.
then transformative. So I'll say that.
Hey.
What's one of those restrictive ideas that you believe women are stuck in?
Believing that we are supposed to be last on the totem pole.
Right.
Us as women, we have been given this stigma in society that we're just supposed to put everybody else's needs before ours, as a mother, as a wife, as a girlfriend, whatever else. And I lived like that for a long time, prioritizing everybody else's needs, having that whole restricted thinking of, oh, if I continue to do for everybody else, I'll get my blessings that way. But what was happening is I was losing myself and didn't know what it is that I wanted because I was too busy prioritizing everybody else,
Right.
From family to friends to kids, and I know a lot of people, when I say this, they like, oh, I got to put my kids first. No, you don't. And I can teach you
Facts.
how to change that, because what you're doing is operating out of a state of havoc, because once you're trying to pour into yourself, there's nothing there for you. So how is that mentally helping you grow? How is that, doing anything to help you live the life that you're supposed to live? Listen, we're not supposed to live life for others. We're supposed to live it for ourselves. And you having a full cup is going to be able to pour out from a full cup, and you'll still be able to help and support. So I'm just here to help women, come into that with themselves so they can live their life how they're supposed to.
Right. And as I said, I've done some research, and I know that you have had, to deal with, a lot of things. Some of those things traumatic in order
Absolutely.
to get to the place that you are now. If you want to
Yeah.
share anything about that.
I will. 2020 was really the breaking point for me. Again, going back, I, live my life for everybody else, thinking that, oh, I'll just get up and provide, do for everybody else. When it came to my children, I'll go back a little bit. My mother and I did not have the best relationship growing up. I'm a product of penitentiary life. I was born in a federal penitentiary. My mother growing up, we in and out of jail. My grandmother raised me. I'm a teen mom. I had a son at 17. Lost my grandmother at 21. Lost my sister in 2009. So not only was I responsible for my child, I then took on two more children literally overnight. And what I wasn't doing was processing. I wasn't grieving. I wasn't expressing my own emotions. I was the queen of suppressing everything. Because again, that's that stigma of, oh, we just got to keep going. That strong woman stigma.
Right.
I'll get into that a little later because I do not call myself that anymore.
Mhm.
But just taking on my sister's children. I am a 7-year cancer survivor now.
Okay.
My children, both of my nephews have been shot, victim of gun violence, weren't bad kids, just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Dealing with that, going through the court systems, being in court trials for 5 different people, for the shootings. My youngest nephew was 14 at the time he got shot. That trauma, again, strong woman stigma, keep going, just keep going. Was also dealing with chemo, went through 3 months of chemo and radiation, still trying to go to court dates, still trying to do for everybody else. Mentally, it was breaking me, and I didn't realize it at the time. But March of 2020, I kind of hit a mental low. I was starting to crack at the seams. Literally,
I can see why.
anybody could say something to me and I just snap. I'm
Mhm.
always argumentative, ready to holler, fuss, cuss about any and everything. Something could be so small. I mean, you could leave a piece of paper over there and I'm snapping on you like you just tried to take my life. You know what I'm saying? But March of 2020 was really kind of that breaking point. And I cried for about 2 hours in my room that night. And I was like, something's got to change. I'm literally, I won't say I was suicidal, but I was to the point to where I was ready to do damage to something and somebody. And I knew that wasn't right. And then we also,
For you to have experienced so much trauma, especially back to back to back, like that, was there a particular time or instance where you began to realize that you have not been taking the time to grieve? Because that time is necessary. It's necessary for you to grieve. And I mean, and you have things, like I said, that are just back to back to back that you needed to kind of grieve from, that you never took that time to do.
Yeah, there were a couple times, but those times before, I would just brush it under and be like, okay, I'll deal with it another time, and just kept going. But March of 2020 was that breaking point for me. I literally sent a group text to my family telling them that I had to fall back because I didn't know what I was going to do. I really didn't know mentally where I was at. We have this stigma in society with us that, no therapy, no therapy. If you go to therapy, you crazy, so that was never something that I considered until March of 2020. And honestly, I think the pandemic, and I will say that word, really was my breaking point, because we were uncertain about so many things at that time. March of 2020, being uncertain about that. And I always wanted to be a person in control, not being able to control that. I think that's what kind of pushed me over the edge. So April of 2020, I actually logged off of social media and I began a 30-day journal, beginning the transformational journey that I knew I needed to go on. It involved a lot of accountability, just understanding that a lot of things that I've gone through in life were, I won't say self-inflicted, but I allowed it. I accepted it. I continue to, let these things go on. Being accountable for me not taking care of my mental well-being before then.
Right.
So just getting accountable for all of that and beginning that journey. And actually, if you see this book beside me, that is actually my first 30 days of my transformation. From habit to healing, 30 days of reconditioning is literally me talking about, speaking on the thoughts that were going on in my head, literally talking about, the transformations that I wanted to make, the changes that I knew needed to happen, but then also the tools and resources that I used, to begin that journey as well. It's a lot of deep stuff in that book. I didn't think it was going to be a book at the time. I literally was just journaling, but I read it a year later and was like, this can help somebody. And then I began the process of, turning it into a book.
So from that point, we, like you said, we first got to heal ourselves before we can begin healing others. Another thing that I found, going through your socials, is that you definitely make time to get out and speak and be around others who, may need to hear those words of wisdom, especially having experienced them, not just, secondhand, but having lived through so many things that you had to kind of transform, your way of thinking about things. So what has that part of the journey been like?
It's been amazing. When I began this journey, with my journal, which now turned into a book, I came up at that time that I wanted to do this. I didn't say full time, because at the time I was still in corporate America. So I knew that I've always been like an unofficial, like, mentor. People would always come to me and know that they could trust me with what they said, and I wouldn't go back, repeating anything. But I knew that it was time to, like, bring that, because, like me, I knew there were others like me that were suppressing things, and that were, wanting to, make some changes about themselves. So I created the business name Upgraded Mindsets during my 30 days of transformation, and was like, okay, I'm gonna do this part-time, so June, I actually made it official, and acquired my LLC in June. So I'm celebrating 3 years of that. November of 2020, thank you. I was actually let go from my corporate job. So I was coaching part-time, had a couple clients, but I wasn't taking it, I won't say not taking it serious, but I was still working full time. So it was like, okay, I'll coach a couple and be done. But because I was on my own personal journey, I was unlearning a lot of stuff about myself. I was trying to figure out what new habits that I needed to acquire, because what we have to realize.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
What's the unlearning like? Because
Whew.
if you are speaking to a person and you have to tell them that they have to unlearn some habits, I don't know if people really understand
They
what
don't.
kind of undertaking that is. So
They
what
don't.
is that like?
So unlearning is you really sitting down and figuring yourself out, mind, body, soul, spirit, right? Something that you have been doing. I just celebrated my 47th birthday, so no shame in my game. Something that you might have done in life for 30 years, but you always had a little struggle with that. Every time you had to do it, there was always a resistance,
Right.
right? But because outside influence will tell us, oh no, you've got to do that, then you go ahead and do it, but you resist. I had to unlearn that. I can't let outside influence dictate my life. So reprogramming my mind to say, you know what? I've got to be intentional in my moves every single day. I can't let that outside influence affect me. So actually reprogram, realign, transforming, like all of those words categorize the changes that need to be made. If you're used to going out to the clubs drinking every weekend, right? And I'll use this as an example. If you're used to going out to the clubs every weekend, but you are on a transformational shift because you're tired of all the negative influences, the toxic environments that you're around, you've got to sit back and say, you know what? Me going to the club every weekend may not be the best on this journey that I'm currently on. So let me fall back from that. And that's what I say about unlearning, because let me tell you, you cannot mix negative and positive together. When you're on a shift like that, you've got to stay positive and intentional. There are going to be negative influences that are going to try to get in the way every single time, but you have to have policies in place to combat them.
Right.
So that's a part of the unlearning process, figuring out new habits about yourself. And a lot of us don't want to do it. It's hard, y'all.
It
That's
is hard, especially when we talk. You said outside influences. I'm not gonna lie. The first thing that came to my mind was family.
Yep. You better talk about it.
That's the biggest
Yep.
outside, whether negative or positive.
Yep.
It's the biggest outside influence that we are going to either have to take on or deter,
Yep.
because it could, have that type of effect on what we're trying to do, personally. And like you said,
It will.
when we admit with our mouths that, hey, I got a problem and I need to take a little bit of time to address it.
Yep.
Usually, if some of your family, well, what you gotta do that,
Yeah. And family will, family, friends, anybody that's close to us, when you're making those moves, they're not going to understand it. And we try to push it and pound it into their head like, I'm trying to change. But what you have to realize is, if they're not trying to make any growth moves on their behalf, they're not going to understand that. So you've got to stop trying to convince them and just go ahead and handle your business regardless. Whether they stay around, they do. If they don't, that's a sacrifice that you got to live with, and that's one of the things that I have to realize, and that's one of the things that I've come to the realization. I've, are no longer affiliated with some people that, have been in my life for years. There's no love lost. I still love them, and everything else, but my journey is different. My path is different. And I had to, realize that it's okay to be that way.
That is definitely okay. I appreciate you coming on here and talking to us. It's always good to see you, because I've seen you a lot in the last
Thank
2
you.
weeks. Moving around, girl. You be on the road, girl. You be
Hey,
on the
I
road.
did. I just came back. And I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. This is definitely my purpose. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since I was let go from my corporate job, because I had to make that decision, where I'm going to walk in my purpose full time, or I'm gonna go, you know, find another job and be in that restricted state of mind. And, you know, my alignments continue to roll because I walk in my journey wholeheartedly. So
Hey, I'm proud of you for that. I know
thank
that had to
you.
be a hard decision to make,
It's still
especially
hard. I won't
yeah.
sugarcoat it. You know, I
Mhm.
definitely will not sugarcoat and let anyone believe that entrepreneurship is easy, like it's an overnight success. Don't let social media fool y'all. It is hard work. It is consistent hard work. You
Right.
know, anybody can start a business, but do you have what it takes mentally to maintain it and pivot your
That
business? Because
fortitude.
that's what
Mhm.
you have to understand.
Oh yeah.
Anybody can go get a LLC, sole proprietorship.
Mhm.
Anybody can post a social media page, but do you have what it takes to elevate your business? 5 years from now, is your business still going to be in existence? You know,
Mhm. The
so
pivot is the real thing. A lot of people don't
absolutely,
know about, you know, the pivot, because sometimes you
absolutely,
may start a business with one particular thing in mind, and then there's something else about the business that
yes.
takes off. So now you have to pivot your attention to what
That's
that
exactly
thing
what happened
is.
for me. That's
Mhm.
exactly. Started off just as a coach, you know, a mindset coach, but now I work with, because I was attracting women entrepreneurs or women who wanted to become entrepreneurs.
Right.
And you know, being that I walked that journey, it's like, okay, I'm here to help you with the startup. I'm not the coach that's going to tell you I'm going to get you 6 figures in 30 days. That ain't me.
Right.
But what I'm here to help you with is to get clarity about your personal life as well as what you want to do as an entrepreneur, so we can take the steps to grow that. Because if your personal life ain't together, and I say it all the time, you are not going to be able to successfully run a business. You got to get that personal clarity first, so you know
Awesome.
exactly where you want to move forward.
Let's show them the cover of that book.
Hey, period.
There
Period, y'all.
it
From
is.
habit to healing. It is available on Amazon, or you can go to my website, which is upgradedmindsets.shop. I do have my online store, which I have t-shirts. I have actually digital products that will be loading July 1st. I have been working hard, y'all, to really help us, you know, make those shifts that we need to make. Sometimes you don't want to talk to a coach. Sometimes you want to start your journey on your own. And I'm putting self-development tools out there to make that happen. But yep, the book is available on my website. It is also available on Amazon because it is an Amazon bestseller. And like I said, any support, you know, would be appreciated. But listen, I'm all about conversation. I love to talk, if y'all can't tell by now. But any woman that is listening here today that wants to have a conversation, the first conversation is always on me. You can go to my website, which is upgradedmindsets.life. Click the complimentary chat. It's going to give you my calendar. You set up a time. Hey, let's talk. Let's see if there's something that I can help you with to move forward. But I really just feel like we need to really start getting accountable for ourselves and really move forward. And it's going to be some hard work, y'all. But in order for us to grow individually and as a whole, that journey necessary.
Come on back to us. Come on back to us. There you go.
Oh, okay. Did it freeze on y'all? Oh,
It
shoot. I'm
did a
sorry.
little bit. Did a little bit. But what we're going to do is I am going to put you guys into the green room once again. I'm going to do my shout out Sunday. I'm going to bring you guys both back.
Okay.
And I have a couple of questions that remain still for each of you guys. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. It is about that time. It's time for shout out Sunday. Shout out Sunday. What I do is I go down my list of followers, whoever is following at the Black Owned Podcast on IG, or whoever follows at Sincere on TikTok. I go down and I find just a random person and I give them a shout out. And if they did get my message, then sometimes they'll call in, sometimes they don't. If you do want to call in, the number is right there at the bottom of your screen. In case you have any questions for Isaiah or Coach K, you can call in and answer and ask those questions. But for now, let's do this shout out Sunday. All right, shout out Sunday. Shout out Sunday. Today it is Royalty Blues 813. Royalty Blues 813 on Instagram. His bio said that he loves pools, family, and lacrosse. And yes, this is a Black man, and he loves lacrosse. I like it when we like odd things, think outside of the box. I love curling now, and I bet you don't even know what that is, but I love it anyway. He also says always Royalty Blue and grow lacrosse in the South. Again, Royalty Blues 813. Big shout out from us or me here at the Black Owned Podcast to you. Appreciate you. Now let's get our guest back up on the screen. And let's talk to these good people right here. Zay, good to have you back, good sir.
What up?
Good to have you back, good sir. I have one. My first question is for you because the remainder of your book's title says mentions Christ.
Yes, sir.
So what is your relationship with the Most High as we speak?
It's great. It's my best relationship right now. It's the best relationship to have.
Yeah, indeed.
You know,
indeed.
And it kind of just like allows everything else in my life to just fall in line. You know, when I know a lot of things aren't going my way when I look at that relationship and it's not where I want it to be, you know?
Right.
And so for me, the relationship's great right now. That's why I got the opportunity to be on here, you know, thank God. And everything else just falls in line. Like that's how it is for me. And I'm appreciative of that relationship. And I found it a little later. I mean, it's hard because I'm saying all this and I'm 21 years old. So
understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Coach, I got a question for you. The question is women, particularly Black women, in relationships. And you might deal with a lot of that. What is your take on Black women in relationships?
Honestly, I hold women accountable. So this ain't gonna be no different. I know that we have this, thing of, the woman is always right. I don't agree with that. I believe that communication is key. We've got to get out of that whole old thing of nothing's wrong, but something's wrong. Being quiet, and feeling like that we're supposed to bring our traumas into new relationships. I don't agree with that. I hear women all the time saying, oh, you got to deal with me and put up with my, I've been through a lot. No, fix that. Fix those things before you try to step into a relationship. If you've gone through it while you're in that relationship, that's a different story. But what I want women to stop doing is feeling like that we can bring our baggage into new situations and new relationships, and people are just supposed to deal with them because you're not being accountable to get help for that first. So I will say, it's time to get accountable, ladies. It's time for you to do that work, because you're going to keep attracting the riffraff that you say you don't want, because you're not ready to make those changes and get accountable and do that work. Because baby, it's work. It's work I had to do for myself, and me doing that, I have an amazing relationship. I have a relationship that I don't have to worry about us not communicating, not arguing about no dumb stuff, because I did that work, and before I seen the difference in my relationship. So ladies, get help, talk to somebody, do what you got to do to heal yourself before you try to bring that baggage into somebody else.
Coach, I might have to have you on here intermittently.
I'm down. I'm down.
Have a Coach K segment.
Come on, then.
Zay, 21-year-old man, you got the world at your fingertips right now, and nothing but life in front of you. Ideally, where are you in the next 5 years?
Ideally, my goal has always been to be a professional athlete. And I'm stopping at nothing to get there. So ideally, that's where I'd like to be. More networking, more business opportunities, inspiring, motivating more people. And that's where I see myself ideally.
we gonna
hey, you on the way. You on the way.
Like use your there's always a network around you.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes people don't understand or realize who it is that is around them, because they might be at the bottom rung right now, but they could actually elevate to that top middle rung very quickly in some cases. and you want to make sure that you know you are on that person's mind when that does happen for them, because usually they always, you know, remember the people who are either important or influential, you know, to them. So it's definitely possible, you know, for you. As far as Coach K goes, earlier I was talking about the issue with DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and him wanting to not allow this American history course to be taught in Florida, and that one of the course subjects for African American history was queer theory. Um, I just don't know how that matches up. What's your thoughts on that?
It's like, honestly, it's some of these things that I try to steer, not listen to. No. I don't have no problem talking about it. Let me be clear on that. But it's just some of these things where, you know how you watching something and you're like, yeah, I can't watch this, because I personally feel like there's agendas based on every single thing that's going on. There's a bigger agenda, and it's an agenda that is not in our best interest.
Right.
I feel like that this is a part of the bigger agenda that's being aligned to us really going back 400 years, if you want to go back that far. But I feel like that there's a bigger issue as to why, you know, we can always ask the question why, and I just don't have an answer for that. You know,
Right.
It's crazy to me, honestly, because I do feel like there's a lot of things that need to be rewritten. I feel like the whole Constitution needs to be rewritten. You know what I'm
I
saying?
thought I was the only one.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? So like it really goes back deeper, you know, deeper with regards to that, because it's really agendas out here. You know, they picking and choosing, and you know, oh, we're gonna do this. That agenda is being pushed way too much, in my opinion. You know, and I might catch some backlash for that. Y'all know I'm unapologetic. I really don't care. But I do feel like that it's being pushed a little more than everything else when we're sitting here still back 200 years and not able to move forward. So, you know, I can
I
get into a
think
lot more things, but I'll let that go.
Here's another, you know, question, and again, it concerns kind of the educational community, as well as you were speaking earlier about getting therapy. Right? And I personally believe, and Isaiah, you let me know if this may have helped you when you were younger and dealing with the things that you had to deal with according to your book. I think that there should be psychiatrists in schools.
Absolutely.
I think psychiatrists need to be in schools. My reasoning behind that is some things we are just not addressing. We're just hanging a generality on it and then pushing the kids away. And I understand that the reason why we do that is because teachers are not equipped for that, nor are they there for that. But maybe that type of tool should be in place for these, especially young children. I don't necessarily. I mean, it would be great if it was K through 12, but if we only had to, you know, we could only do it for a certain amount of time. I would definitely say from at least to the first to third grade, so that we can catch anything that might be going on with these young children at an early time. What do you think about that?
I do. I feel like that. I honestly feel like it should be K through 12. When you've got social media, real life on here that is like putting so many different stigmas and so many different perpetrating, you know, scenarios out here, and you have the, you know, just everything overall, I feel like it should be across the board, K through 12 automatically. You know, we see bullying going on a daily basis, and it starts as early as kindergarten and goes all the way up to 12th grade. You know, we see, you know, gang affiliation. I'm seeing more and more where we got gang affiliation, 10 and 11 and 12-year-old kids. Unfortunately, it's going on in my city right now. You know, I don't know how old he was, and I don't want to put it out there, but he was a teen, was shot last night. You know, literally, we had a Juneteenth celebration here in my city, amazing celebration, and this was the aftermath. You know, these kids are out here You know, and I'm gonna hold parents accountable, you know, because
Right.
I can't say nothing without speaking on the parents, because some
That's
of
a
these
fact.
parents still want to party and still, you know, they make excuses about how they got to work 10, 11, 12-hour shifts. I get it, understand it. However, we cannot continue to go with the old ways, you know, and this is when I speak transformation, I speak it from this as well. Those old ways are not working. If we know that the internet is convincing our kids to do this and influencing them, then guess what? You need to use the internet to counteract that. And we're still trying to use the ways that we used 20 years ago to try to get in there. And unfortunately, that it's not working. You know, these kids ain't dumb. They not dumb.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? They not dumb. So until we understand and get with those times and come together instead of letting our egos keep us separated, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be the chief. Everybody wants to be the person that says, I did this, I did this. But you help 10 kids, but if we all come together, we can help 200 kids. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like that, you know, there should be that in schools, there should be multiple you know, counselors, and not just counselors, but therapists to be able to hear that. And, you know, in the moment, because if somebody's mad in the moment, they need it right then and there. They need to have that conversation to be talked down, you know, right there in the moment. So I do feel like it should be in school, K through 12, honestly.
Zay, how you think?
I agree. I mean, me being young, it's kind of hard because a lot of these kids, like, you live 3 different lives almost. You have what social media wants you to look like.
Boy, talk.
You have what school wants you to look like. You have your friends at school. You have social media.
There it is.
And then you have your actual family at home. You know what I'm saying? And I talk to my brother about this all the time. It's a hard thing to talk about, because how can you be a teacher, teach this kid how to add, multiply, subtract, and then you got to teach, like, raise him, you know what I'm saying? Because at home it's not happening, or social media is trying to teach them to do things that, you know, just aren't them. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, a lot of kids, it's a battle, because, like I said, you're almost living 3 lives. Like, even I've seen that in some of my friends, you know, or it's hard. When I was coming up, social media was still a thing. Like, it's just getting more and more powerful every day. And kids are living multiple lives at this point, because they're being molded into social media. And then at home, you're being raised a certain way. And then at school, you want to look a certain way, you know?
Right.
So I agree. Right. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that it's going that way. But, you know, that's just the reality of it.
That's a very good point, though. I mean, because I can even, you know, even in my own experience, especially from young, you do live differently in front of, you know, your friends and constituents than you do at home, you know, and I've never, and because of that, I've never been a parent that was under the misconception that the way my child is in front of me is the way that they are when they are out in the world. So I would never, you know, be one to just jump when somebody says, "Oh, your child does this." And now there are some things that I know my child is not going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand that, you know, kids do, you know, kind of live these, you know, split lives, especially now. And that's just between, and when I was young, it was just between when you were outside and whatever with your friends, or at school with your friends, and in the house. But now, like you said, you have to include social media.
Yeah.
You may be a whole different person, you know, there as well. So,
yeah,
you know, I think that those, you know, those things need to be available, you know, to those kids, especially in the younger, you know, more impressionable ages, so that they can, you know, kind of get a lot of those things out. And plus, when you start talking to kids, you never know what comes out. You never know what'll come out. I mean, the conversation might be, you know, about one thing, and they may break down crying right in front of you, and now you got to take a whole different, you know, route. So, you know, that's my thoughts on that. And hey, look, guys, I want to thank, you know, both of you for you know, for being guests today. You know, I definitely appreciate you. Wish you guys both the best. Hope Isaiah, hope one day you can come on here and say that you have a Amazon bestseller.
Hey, we claiming that.
You know, just like Coach K. You know, I wish you well in your coming school year. And Coach, definitely, we'll be in touch, because I really do think I probably want to do a Coach K segment, you know, every now
always
and then.
down for collaboration. I love it. I love it.
So I will definitely be in touch. But anyway, thank both of you guys, and I'm about to about to sign off. All right. You got anything you want to say, Coach? You want to get
no. Y'all can follow your girl
There
on
you
all
go.
social media at Coach KAYWDS. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Definitely follow there. Again, I'm always down for conversation. So if you're down for that, you can hit that up in the link, but also the website as well. So, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here. Ladies, let's get it together. Time for you to find you, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, Zay, I appreciate you for coming on. You got anything you want to say signing off?
Go buy the book, man. It's out. Just released today through Amazon.
Okay.
You know, go get
I
you a
definitely
copy.
gotta support that. Most definitely.
Yeah. I'm willing to connect with anybody and everybody, man. The networking is huge, and helping each other out is huge, and upgrading is huge.
So. All right, man. Well, thank both of you guys, and like I said, I wish nothing but great things for both of y'all going forward.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That is it for this episode of the Black Owned Podcast. It was a great way to, to come back after a little bit of time off. I appreciate Coach K. I appreciate Isaiah for coming on. Please don't forget to follow your boy on IG at Black Owned Podcast. Hit my YouTube, subscribe there. Also hit that notification bell so you'll know when we're going live. I got a lot of subscribers between Facebook and Instagram, but my YouTube does not reflect that. Please go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button for your boy. This is the Black Owned Podcast. So remember, stay prayed up, stay positive, stay powerful. Peace.